All right, let's talk about something that is absolutely fundamental to Salesforce: environments. You can think of them as your digital workspace. But, as we're about to see, it's so important to know the difference between your workshop, where you build things, and your showroom, where you show them off.
No way, right? Of course not. You would never, ever risk serving some untested recipe to paying customers. You'd try it out in the kitchen first, you'd get it just right, and only then would you add it to the menu. Well, that exact same logic applies when you're developing on Salesforce.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get on the same page about what a Salesforce environment even is. Then we'll dive deep into our main idea today, the showroom versus the workshop. From there, we'll look at the different tools the developer has, see how to safely get your work from the workshop floor to the shiny showroom, and then we'll wrap up by figuring out which setup is the right one for you.
Okay, let's get into it. Before we can really talk about workshops and showrooms, we kind of need to understand the building itself. So what exactly is a Salesforce environment?
So, the official term you're going to hear is an environment, or let's be honest, more often just an org. And really, all it is your own private, totally self-contained piece of the Salesforce platform. This is the home for all your stuff, your data, your customer records, all the cool customizations you've built. And the best part? You get to it all right from your web browser.
There's a perfect way to think about this, and it's the Gmail analogy. It really makes it all click. Just like when you sign up for Gmail, you get your own private inbox up in the cloud, right? Well, getting a Salesforce org is the exact same idea. It's your own secure spot to do your work. It's all yours.
And this right here brings us to the most crucial point of all. Not all environments are created equal. You have to separate your pristine customer-facing showroom from your messy, creative workshop. In Salesforce terms, this is the big difference between production and development environments.
Let's make this super clear. The production org, that's your showroom. Think of it like opening night every single night. It's got your live, absolutely critical business data, your actual users, your customers, they're in there working. This is where the business runs, which is exactly why making changes on the fly here is a huge risk. Now, on the other side, you've got the development environment. That's your workshop. This is your safe zone. It's filled with test data, and the only people in there are developers and testers. It's a place literally designed for you to build, to experiment, and yeah, even to break things, all without any danger of messing up the real business.
So let's head into the workshop. A good workshop isn't just one big empty room, right? It's filled with all sorts of different tools for different jobs. Well, the same is true for Salesforce development environments. You've got choices. Okay, so your two main types of workshops are what we call Developer Edition orgs and sandboxes. A Developer Edition org, or DE org, is totally free and completely separate. It's like getting an empty garage to start building whatever you want from scratch. A sandbox, though, that's different. It's a direct copy of your live production org, your showroom. This is more like having an exact replica of your showroom out back where you can practice and get everything perfect before anyone sees it.
And this really lays out the whole tool set for you. Just look at the progression. You can start with a Developer Edition, a totally blank slate, which is awesome for learning. Then you move into sandboxes. A developer sandbox is kind of like your daily driver. It copies your setup, your customizations, but not your sensitive data, so it's perfect for everyday coding. Need more muscle for a bigger project? That's what Developer Pro is for. Now see how it gets more serious? A partial copy sandbox? This brings in a sample of your real data. And that is huge for quality assurance because you're testing on something that looks and feels real. And finally, the full sandbox. This is the final dress rehearsal. It's an exact mirror of your live showroom, data and all. It's where you do your final stress tests before the big launch.
So, you've used all the right tools in your workshop, and you've built something amazing. So, what now? You can't just wheel it out onto the showroom floor. You need a process. You need quality control. And this is where testing and deployment come in. Before anything, and I mean anything, goes live, it has to pass through a dedicated testing environment. This is your final quality check. It's where you run all your integration tests, you do security checks, and maybe you even let a few trusted users try it out to get their feedback. This step is what separates a professional, polished release from a risky gamble. And this all comes together in a simple, safe path called the application lifecycle. It's super straightforward. Step 1, you build in your safe workshop like a developer sandbox. Step 2, you test like crazy in a realistic setting, maybe a partial or a full sandbox. And only when it's perfect, only then do you hit Step 3, you deploy the finished, polished product into the live showroom for everyone to see.
All right, theory's great, but let's make this practical. How do you actually apply all this? Let's run through a couple of really common scenarios to help you decide which environment is the right one for you.
Okay, first up, let's say you're just starting out. You're curious, you want to learn, and you want to build your very first app on the platform, all without spending a dime. What's the right choice?
Oh, this one's easy. The answer is crystal clear. You want a Developer Edition org. It's the absolute perfect place to start. It is totally free, it has all the features you need to learn and build, and this is the most important part, it's a completely separate space. Zero connection to any real business data.
All right, scenario number 2. You work for a company that already uses Salesforce. You've been asked to build a new feature, maybe a whole new app, for that existing live environment. What's your path?
So here, you technically have options, but there is a clear best practice. While you could use a Developer Edition org, the highly recommended path is to use a sandbox. And why is that? It's because a sandbox is a direct copy of your company's setup. It makes sure that what you're building is actually going to work perfectly when you finally deploy it to the live system. It is the safest, most reliable way to develop for an existing org.
So, the big takeaway here is this. Choosing the right environment is the bedrock of professional Salesforce development. It's all about protecting your showroom while letting the real innovation happen in the workshop. You've got the map now to keep them separate and safe. So the real question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you know how to build the perfect workshop, what amazing things are you going to create in it?